Hello, hello, brothers and sisters. Happy New Year. Happy New Year. 2022. Well, we've left 2021 and we're now in 2022. So there's a whole lot happening in 2022. But before we begin, we want to say thank you very much. We hope you enjoyed last year. This year, we're going to even have a better show for you. So you just keep watching and continue subscribing to the show. We thank all our subscribers, we thank all our viewers, and we thank all our customers and clients. We are having more clients watching the show, which is very good. The number of subscribers is also going up slowly, so we encourage you to continue subscribing to this show. When we started this show, we said we wanted to give you a voice. We wanted to give you a platform where you can express yourself. And most of you have really helped us. Every week, you send us content, we work on this content, then we'll air it nationwide. More and more people are hearing you. In 2022, we even want our audience to be broader so that more and more people can understand our African agenda. The African agenda is to make Africa the center of whatever we're doing. Okay? Because Africa is not a laughing stock. When people make Africa a laughing stock, we say no. We know our history. We know how great Africa has been in the past. So we want to restore the greatness of Africa. This is what this show is about. We know our African people have the talents. What we lack is good leadership. And we continue harping on this theme every week. We lack good leadership. Had we good leadership, we would have been doing far better. But we want to emulate the excellence of the Jewish people, which is the message we have for you today. We have to look at the way Jewish people have done things. When they left Europe during the Second World War, and after the Second World War, they came to America and settled. But they made their mind that they did not want to be refugees anymore. They wanted to build a homeland for themselves. They sat together and make a secret plot to handle world domination. They wanted to dominate the world. In fact, one of the books I'm going to encourage you to read today is called The Jewish Peril, Protocols of the Learned Elders of Zion. Sometimes the Jewish people will tell you this book is fake, but the book explains, it outlines the secret plot of the Jewish people to conquer the world. And I think it is time now for Africans to start thinking about their own secret plot to conquer the world. And this can be done in 3 stages. We can start by looking at the economic stage, second, the social stage, then third, the political stage. With the economic stage, we want to encourage most of our people to get into business so that they can be successful. When we start dominating in the economic space, then we'll have enough resources to get to the social phase. In the social phase, we want to start organizing ourselves, okay? We've been educating ourselves, now we want to start organization. Once we are organized, then the third stage now is lobbying. We have to start lobbying the US government and other governments in the world to focus on the African agenda. The African agenda is African nationalism. We want to look at Africa as a nation. So we want to preoccupy ourselves with doing everything to promote the interests of the African nation. That should be our guide in 2022. African nationalism, that's what we want. And African nationalism is the only way we can free ourselves from French neocolonialism. So the choice this year is, are we going to have more French neocolonialism, or we're going to see genuine independence for Africans? That's a question we want you to address in the show of today. You know that France is now leading the EU, the European Union. And Emmanuel Macron is running for re-election. So from January until, say, June, he's going to be pushing the European Union to focus on Africa. In fact, the French themselves know that without Africa, France will deteriorate down to a third world country. France has been able to sustain herself as a world power because of the pilferage, the stealing, the looting of resources from Africa. And you can see exactly what is happening. In most of the countries we're going to focus on today, like we'll give you Cameroon, some of these countries had their independence on January 1st. Take, for example, like Cameroon. They had their independence on January 1st. But why? They are not even celebrating it. Why not? They are not celebrating it because they are even ashamed, because they know that what they have is not really independence. It is flag independence. We just have the hoax of independence. They are not really free. Mr. Paul Biya, for example, cannot do what he chooses. He does what his masters in France want him to do. And that's what is really happening. When you have a situation like this, how can you care for the people? It's because the people do not put you where you are. The French provide you all the weapons so you can kill your people, to tell them to keep quiet whenever they disobey the French. So he is just like the attack dog of the French. And it's really sad. On the 1st of January, we took some time to analyze the speech of President Paul Biya. He made the speech he makes every year. On December 31st, he'll make a speech talking about the way things have worked themselves out during the year. But when we look at this, we say, what kind of development is this? He talked about COVID-19, the pandemic, what the Cameroon government has done to try to handle this disease. He talked about the economic development during his tenure, the way he has done a whole lot to prepare for the African Cup of Nations. So he talks about it. They've built a lot of infrastructure just to handle this event. So why do we have to wait for 30 years plus to develop our country? So if this event were not coming, the CAF event were not coming to Cameroon, so you will not develop your country. You have to wait until CAF is coming to your country before you start thinking of development. So this is really a shame, and it tells you that they are using this soccer tournament as a form of distraction. They want to distract the people. Already, there's so much excitement about the CAF competition in Cameroon. You can see it. You look at the newspapers. In fact, from the last week in December, we've been monitoring the situation. The events are going to take place, we hear, from the 9th of January this month. So there's a whole lot of fanfare going on in La République du Cameroun. The president himself is the master of ceremony. It's like an orchestra. He's leading this whole symphony. And we're just watching from the sidelines. Everybody is forced to get involved. So when you look at even the places where the game is going to be played. So before, they were complaining about the stadiums were not really ready. So they had to do a lot of work to get the stadiums ready. But already we also hear a whole lot of bad news. There's a whole lot of infections, a lot of infections going on. Some of the players are already infected. So how is the game going to go ahead in a climate where there's COVID-19? And they are saying that, well, if you're not vaccinated, you're not going to come to the stadium. And in this part of the world, a lot of people fake. It's difficult to even know if a guy is vaccinated or not, because a lot of fake vaccination regimes are going on. People can pay, and they will just give them a document showing that they've been vaccinated. So we think it's a big risk. Most of the players going to La République du Cameroun to engage in this game, they are really playing Russian roulette with their lives. So we know some of them are money hungry, but why would you want to lose your life because of money? So that's your choice. So the players who are not intelligent, they want to lose their life because of money, they can do that. We even saw pictures of the chairman of a CAF from South Africa, Patrice Motsepe, bowing to King Biya. All of them are happy. They've worked deals so that the game can take place, but at what risk? So it's like the game must take place at all costs. They don't really care what it happens. They want the game to take place. But there are many more dangers. In addition to COVID-19, you also have the backdrop of protests and the insurgency. You have the Ambazonia insurgency that is also playing in the background. It is true that Mr. Paul Biya has been able to convince the international community by saying that, okay, we've had a handle on this crisis, we've defeated the Ambazonian guys, so nothing is going to happen. But that's not true. We've heard stories that already the Ambazonians are preparing a big surprise for the players who will come to this game. And we think when people make threats, take them seriously. Don't just think nothing is going to happen. We understand that Mr. Biya believes in militarization. He thinks by sending the military guys out there, they're going to prevent anything from happening to any of the players. But what about the guys, the fans, who are going to be enjoying this game? Are they going to really enjoy this game? We don't really think so, especially some of the games that are going to be played in a place like Victoria. Victoria is an old seaport in Ambazonia, but Mr. Biya changed the name of the towns from Victoria to Limbe. And when you look at this seaport, it's not only a seaport, this is also the seat of oil, where they have the oil refinery Sonora. Okay? So the people who are here are mostly people from Mr. Biya's tribe who populate the place. And there is a whole lot of resentment. The Anglophones feel that they are not really benefiting from the resources that come from their region. And this oil is piped to Douala to be processed. So it's like they are just taking advantage of Anglophones for nothing. And that's why we see the rise of Ambazonian nationalism. Nationalism means these people believe in the construction of a new nation, of Ambazonia. They believe in a new country because they feel that they have been treated as second-class citizens in La République du Cameroun. So they want to build their own country. They aspire to build a new country. It doesn't matter how much military might Mr. Biya puts together to try to stop them. A few days ago, I saw information from Herman Cohen. He used to be under U.S. Secretary for Africa. He's a very intelligent person. He's now retired. He made some premature statements which did not really go well in the Ambazonian community. He was saying on Twitter that now that Mr. Biya has won the war, it is now time for rapprochement with the Anglophones. And we think this is really premature. The war has not been won. Okay, the Ambazonians have not lost the war. So it is premature to say that Mr. Biya has won the war, because when you look at the facts on the ground, we will tell you, because we understand what is happening. There are a lot of surprises waiting for Mr. Biya and his people in Ambazonia this January. So just watch. Do not say, we did not tell you so. We know a whole lot of what is happening. The Ambazonians are taking it low. They are waiting. It's like a lion is waiting, then they will strike. So the players who are going to go to these games, especially like in Victoria, they better be careful, because it's not going to be easy. I know a lot of people are being bribed so that they should not resist. They should just keep quiet. But that's not what is going to happen, because we're already gathering a lot of intelligence on the ground. The Ambazonians are planning to disrupt this game, and they're going to give Mr. Biya and his people a lot of surprises. And we know what the surprises are going to be. So just tune in. You know, we always gather this information, then we share it with you. It's just like the Mr. Biya people were undermining the Ambazonians. But what happened? They said, oh, in maybe 2 weeks, we're going to wipe those guys off and we'll take over the country. But they've not been able to do it, because the Ambazonians are very resilient. Okay? They started the war with nothing because they were not even prepared for war. It's true that Mr. Biya has been planning for this war for years. He's been amassing weapons and building a big army. Initially, the guys realized that they cannot fight Mr. Biya's army toe-to-toe. So they decided now to adopt guerrilla tactics. And since then, things have been going well for them. They have been winning. They have been winning and winning and winning. And they cannot stop winning. You look at 2021 marked the year the Ambazonians decided to introduce the use of IEDs, improvised explosive devices. This new technology has really wrought havoc in the Cameroon army. It has struck a lot of fear in the heart of a lot of the Beti Bulu soldiers. They are very, very scared now when they are in Ambazonia. Before, they will kill people with a lot of effrontery, but not anymore. We're going to share a video with you, which is going to show you the way Mr. Biya's military went to Ambazonia and they were trying to start killing civilians, and some of the soldiers were planning to get out of their cars to pick up civilians and kill them. But the Ambazonian restoration forces were very valiant. They came up with a strategy to combat these Bia's murderous thugs. Let me let you watch the video of the ADF. You see how they decided to forestall an attack on civilians by Mr. Bia's forces. Watch it for a minute.
They know they under Isobu. I mean, the warriors, they know they under Isobu with the commander for SOP. So this operation, which you see happen, as you see that Cameroon military, the convoy, then stand, they usually come out, go begin select people, then for house them, kill them. As Cameroon military, they work and kill civilian them. So this operation, if they give them sniper shots, will guide them onto them pass for places civilian houses, then they do. Now operation then this will be meant to protect our civilians against Cameroon terrorism.
Yes. Okay, the position where we are for then, which position? Okay, me I'll be going to look at them. When I talk to him, I'm gonna tell him reach for target. Then when I wake up.
Thank you very much for watching the video which shows this attack. But there's more. We see now that January 1st, we also talked about Benin last week, and that's another country we wanted to talk about today. But since we talked about it a few weeks ago, we spoke about Patrice Talon's country. They used to call Benin Dahomey. So these are all countries where the French have been dominating, and you can see that there's no rule of law. So we can even refresh your memory with some of the images we shared with you a few weeks ago when we spoke about Benin. Then at the same time, the country that really taught most of the sub-Saharan African countries the spirit of revolution is Algeria.
Hey, yo, Shape, I thought you was going to take me to this place so I could get my taxes done. You know I'm trying to buy a new house. What's up?
Let's get it on. If you're searching for a house, call up my man Prince Ojong, the best in real estate. Take it from your guy Shape. When I say his services are the best in the states where he's born, he even take care of your tax forms, fat refunds. So come get your business done. Consultations, financial organization, fast processing, no waiting. This man is amazing. The Prince.
Act now and call Prince Ojong at 240-350-1131. That's 240-350-1131.
Okay, today Algeria is ruled by Toubadine, Mr. Toubadine. He took over from Bouteflika. But I want you to remember the Algerian Revolution from 1954 to 1962. In fact, this is where the French killed over 1 million Algerians because they did not want the country to be free. But the people were hell-bent on freeing their country. They fought very hard. They fought valiantly. And this war demolished the invincibility of the French forces because they also lost a lot of people. And this war has repercussions in France up to today. And which is why Emmanuel Macron is still struggling with issues of migration. because a lot of the puppets that the French left behind were killed. Those who were not killed escaped to France. Then they made a lot of babies. And France doesn't want Muslims there. But they are there now. So now you have the problem with immigrants. So you see the way the hands of French is like they are very dirty hands. There's no water. Even the water of the whole ocean cannot clean the hands of France because these hands are very dirty with corruption, killing. Imagine killing over 1 million Algerians. So you see now that killing people in Ambazonia is not new because it's a culture. The French like to kill people for resources. They were killing Algerians. Why? Because Algeria has a lot of oil. You must understand that Algeria is a very big country. In fact, Algeria is in terms of landmass, is the biggest country in Africa. Nigeria and Ethiopia beat Algeria because of geography. You must know that 4/5 of Algeria just consists of desert, okay? The habitable area is just like 1/5, okay? So, but it's a very big country in terms of landmass. The French have been using it to conduct some of their nuclear experiments, but we think the people of Algeria are very, very revolutionary. They are very nationalistic. So we think our people can learn a lot from the people of Algeria, okay? They can learn a lot from the people of Algeria because the Algerians know how to fight a revolutionary war. And we love this. For today, we're also going to draw your attention to one of the books we want you to read. And the book is called The Dictator's Handbook. We realize that what is really putting Africa behind is the presence of dictators. It's a book which we think you should read for this week. When you read this book, you're going to see how dictators come to power. You're going to see how dictators stay in power. Then you're going to see how dictators use the power they have amassed to make the people poor, then take all the wealth, okay, and share it with their families. So it's a really good book which I want you to really read, because when you read this book, you're going to gather a whole lot of knowledge about the way dictators operate. And when you read this book, it's going to be like a theoretical example of what a dictator is. It gives you knowledge. So you start looking at dictators like living organisms. So you study them like the way a biologist would study a living organism in the lab. You're going to understand dictators very, very well. But do not forget, the other book which I want you to read is The Jewish Peril, Protocols of the Learned Elders of Zion. Because I really want you to see the way the Jewish people have been able to free themselves. So far, we've been talking about problems. But now we also want to discuss solutions, okay? We want to discuss solutions. You look at Angola, which is another country we've profiled on this show a few months ago. Angola has a lot of oil. But unfortunately, it was a Portuguese colony. And you know, Portugal is a very small country in Europe. But interestingly, Portugal was very, very active in the slave trade in Africa. Okay? Portugal is very, very small. But they were very, very active. In fact, if you look at the last book we suggested to you, The Scramble for Africa, when you look at that book also, you can really see the role of Portugal. Portugal was everywhere, doing the trade in slaves and all that stuff, stealing African stuff, killing Africans. Why? They had better technology. So if we want to gain this year, Africans have to learn to get into business, enrich themselves, then they have to learn how to use technology. These people were able to overpower our ancestors because they had very good technology. Without good technology, you cannot really fight these people and win. So it's very important for us to know that technology is very important. To end this show of today, we want to go to Nigeria. Nigeria is a big country. We featured Nigeria last week, and some of you were saying that it's too much propaganda. It's not propaganda. Nigeria is a big country in Africa. Nigeria is endowed with great people all over the place. Whatever we said in the video is true. Some of you challenge us. Sure, you can challenge us. The problem in Nigeria is corrupt leadership. It's not the people. The people of Nigeria are talented. If you want to argue, you will get the proof. Because the leaders are corrupt, it doesn't mean Nigerians are bad people. Okay? So we have to make a distinction between Nigerians and their leaders. So, but you are free to differ with us, because what we do on this show is to provide a platform where we can discuss issues as brothers and sisters. Okay? For the show of today also, we want to let you know that we got more information about Sunday Adeyemo Igbo. You know, we've been featuring him. This is the guy who was really upset with the way the people from the north, the headsmen, were killing Yoruba people in cold blood. When he reacted, Buhari and his henchmen decided to pursue him. They even went to his house and killed some people in his house. If you remember some of our shows, we featured all of this information. This week, we've just gotten information that Sunday Igbo is still in Cotonou, Benin. Why, up to now, has there not been a trial for him? If he committed any crime, does he have to take a year or 5 years for him to go to trial? Or is it because the politicians in Nigeria want to make sure that they should wait until 2023 when the presidential election is over before they will release Sunday Igbo? If that's the trick, we want you, the people, to think about it. Sunday Igbo's lawyer even sent out his goodwill message for 2022 to all his supporters. It looks like his supporters are quiet now. That's what Mr. Buhari wants. He doesn't want them to make noise. He wants them to keep quiet until after the presidential election of 2023. But we think the youth should rise. The Nigerian youth should rise as they did in Lekki. They should rise and challenge these old people, because what they are doing is wrong. They are holding Sunday Igbo in Cotonou for no good reason. This is a whole lot of stress on this guy's family. We hear his wife is German, so she travels back and forth. She's in Germany, she's in Cotonou, Benin, to see the husband. So this is too much stress. We don't think his family deserves this type of nonsense. Okay? And it looks like Mr. Buhari has already made plans to frustrate him so that he should not be around. Now his supporters are keeping quietly. Mr. Buhari is happy. But I'm telling his supporters not to keep quiet. They have to wake up and start talking about Sunday Igbo. Okay? They have to wake up. Don't keep quiet. Wake up. Then finally, we want to sympathize with Mr. Peter Obi, the owner of the next supermarket. News just got us a few hours ago that the supermarket was got by fire and it burned to the ground, and you can see a crowd of people surrounding it and making a lot of noises. We want to end this show by showing you the way it happened. We don't know whether there were no fire extinguishers or water safety devices which can pump water when there's fire. So when we were told that the building had all the new standards, we're really skeptical, but we're going to wait until the investigation is complete. This is our first show of the year. We're telling you to continue to contact us. Those who have businesses, call us. We're going to help you to get your business off the ground. If your business is already running, we can help you with a business plan, or we can even do all the paperwork for you. Especially those who are in healthcare. We're hosting a seminar on February 26th, and we'll be sharing a whole lot of information on Eventbrite and Hopin. Those are two platforms we're going to be sharing a whole lot of information about this event. We want a lot of Africans to attend this event. It's an event where we're trying to put together doctors, patients, nurses, pharmacists, all the healthcare workers and professionals. We're going to mix them up so that they can discuss, okay? This is what we want to do. We want to bring all these people together to discuss in a virtual medical conference. So the technology is there that we've set up, and we're inviting a lot of people to take part in this medical conference. We want to use Eventbrite and Hopin as two platforms to promote this event. You're going to be hearing about the event more and more, but for now, we tell you, Happy New Year 2020, Happy New Year 2020. Subscribe, subscribe, subscribe.
Medical practice software is too old. Indeed, all the programs are built on MUMPS, technology of the 1950s, and the programs cost too much money. Epic and Cerner cost billions of dollars. Meditech costs thousands of dollars too. In fact, that's why we created AlexiaHTC.com, a new and free EMR/EHR for doctors. AlexiaHTC.com is built for HIPAA. Yes, magical one-screen technology, ease of use, quick charting, amazing e-prescribing, tight labs integration, multi-office difference, because we believe doctors and patients need a break today. Be the first to test drive AlexiaHTC.com. You have nothing to lose. You have everything to gain. Act now. Call 240-350-1131. Alexia Care Corporation at AlexiaHTC.com. Selling a service or a product? Need buyers? Use the African Nation TV as a channel to reach many viewers. Act now and call Prince Ojong at 240-350-1131. That's 240-350-1131. Act today.